Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC Academy is situated in Karu, Abuja. He was commissioned by former President Olusegun Obasanjo on the 6th of August 2005. Formerly referred to as the EFCC Training and Research Institute, the EFCC Academy is the training arm of the Commission saddled with the responsibility of equipping staff of the EFCC and other law enforcement agencies within and outside Nigeria with relevant skills to discharge their mandates. On September 30, 2015, the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa, NACIWA, which was established in 2010 to promote coordination and cooperation among institutions established to combat corruption within the West African sub-region, began the maiden training of its members at the EFCC Academy. The program, which featured anti-corruption agencies within the West African sub-region, marks a turning point in the leading role the EFCC has been playing in the fight against corruption, not only locally but internationally. Isufu Burema, while expressing gratitude to the EFCC for playing a pivotal role in the establishment of NACIWA and for hosting the training program, which had participants from the Republic of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mali, Republic of Niger, Senegal, Togo, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria, stressed the need for anti-graft agencies in the sub-region to unite in fighting corruption. Ibrahim Lamordi, Executive Chairman of the EFCC, speaks about the Commission's role in NACIWA.
There's a study that has been conducted by some think tank about the performance of anti-corruption agencies in the region. And Nigeria came first in the whole region in terms of number of convictions, in terms of number of cases investigated, number of prosecuted cases, assets recovered, the reach, number of MOUs signed, both within the African continent and across the world, Europe, America, and whatever. There's none came close to the EFCC. So it became obvious that the others were willing to learn from the experiences we had here.
Lamode said the decision to host the training program within the EFCC facility was taken during the General Assembly meeting of NACIWA, convened by ECOWAS from 11th to 13th March 2015 in Abuja. No doubt, these achievements must have come with some challenges. Is it not an irony that the rest of West Africa is celebrating you at the time that you're facing allegations of tampering with assets and money recovered from certain individuals investigated by the Commission?
The interesting thing about the whole thing is, initially we took a position that, look, you don't give credit to some of these wild allegations that do not make sense at all. And also you find that the allegations were made in such a way that either the individual deliberately or by default is targeting at me as an individual for whatever reasons. Simply put is that in the first place, I only became the chief executive of the EFCC in 2012. And most of the allegations that are being branded by this individual happened under the watch of other people.
Part of the allegations read, and I quote, that you, Mr. Ibrahim Lamordi, as the executive chairman of EFCC in March 2013, in a bid to conceal a fraud of 779,155,004 naira 62 kobo, being part of Tafa Balogun's forfeited funds, falsified documents in response to the request made on you by duly constituted authorities, wherein you fraudulently stated the total of 13 bank balances as 258,100,576 naira 98 kobo instead of 3,037,255,521 naira 60 kobo. End of quote. How do you react to these allegations?
Not a single kobo of Tafa Balogun's money has been misapplied or misappropriated by any person. The Spring Bank, I think it was, what's the name of this bank that is defunct now? Is it Fortune or Fountain Trust Bank, was where most of these assets were. Eventually, it was taken over by, when they had the merger, it became Spring Bank, and later Spring Bank sent in all the monies that were in various accounts of Tafa Balogun. I think there were about 13 accounts or thereabout. 4 had no balances on it, 0 balances. The ones that had money and some of the commercial papers that had total money value that was remitted was 2 point something billion.
Is the sum of 2,558,100,516 naira 87 kobo exactly what was taken from Tafa Balogun and remitted to the Federation account?
There were these monies in the various accounts, plus the investments in various papers that were in the bank. The clubs together gives you about 2 point something billion. And the money before eventually being sent to the EFCC, because there are processes. First and foremost, freezing of accounts and are in various stages. You identify the account, go for an interim forfeiture, which is to restrain this asset while the case is going on in court. After judgment is given, and the individual concerned, because I want people to understand that what we have in Nigeria is conviction-based asset forfeiture regime. So you convict the individual first before you go after the assets. So it is after the person, the accused person is convicted by court, now you apply for final forfeiture order by the court. And then the final forfeiture is given, and the court will direct what to do with the assets. So this is the process. It was after the final forfeiture was given, the total sum of the monies in the account and the accruable interest, which is about 14 for something million, matched together, was transmitted to the EFCC, which eventually was passed on to the government.
I understand from the petition that some assets belonging to Tafa Balogun are still being held by the commission. Is this true?
There were about 13 property of Tafa Balogun that were seized. Some here, some in Lagos and Abuja here. Out of the 13, 9 were disposed of, and the monies remitted to the EFCC and onward transmission back to the federal government. The other 4, one was challenged in court. The original owner of the property said yes, he had entered into a negotiation with Tafa Balogun, but the sale was not consummated. However, the reason why that was brought onto the list of properties to be forfeited, a document was seen referring to that property when search was conducted and recovered from Tafa Balogun. Eventually, we went to court with the individual, and I think last year, the court decided in the favor of the original owner of the property. So it was taken back to him. 2 other properties, as I speak to you, we are still having litigation over them. One belongs to an original allotee of the property. We have gone to edges, even though we have seen documents to suggest that there was some kind of interest shown by Tafa Balogun, and at the time the forfeiture, the property was listed among the properties to be forfeited. There was strong suspicion that Tafa Balogun bought that property. But the people contested that if they had there had been a sale, there would have been changed and deed of assignment or whatever and all the documentation, it just remains in the name of the original allotee. We are still dealing with that. Another one too, somebody is occupying it and is making claim that he owns it, and we have challenged that ownership because we strongly believe it has been purchased. But this is matter to be decided. There's one property, I think, in Zone 6, which is Zone 6 here. The property couldn't be sold. It's still being managed by, it's there, and they're looking for people who could buy the property. Most people will say that the property has been overvalued, but we don't do forced sale. We insist the people selling must sell at the prevailing price of property at any given location, since location makes the price of properties to differ. And we insist that they should sell at the appropriate, and they also have told us that it's possible to get this particular price range within which, so the only property that is still, say with us, is that property in Zone 6, which has no encumbrances at all. But like I told you, the other one has been taken by the court. The other two are still being contested.
There are also allegations that the commission traded with money recovered from Tafa Balogun. Is this also true?
How can it be true? You see, I think people need to understand how some of these things operate. In fact, it's the reason why I emphasized and also insisted we need a reputable audit firm to look at the whole thing. There is a problem between preserving assets based on the style we know it in a traditional police fashion. And there's also a new approach, which is the modern approach, not only preserving the assets, but making sure that the assets get value at the end of the day.
Regarding the allegations of tampering with money and assets recovered from Tafa Balogun, the commission said a total of 15 Spring Bank accounts were forfeited by the convict. Of this number, 4 accounts had 0 balances. The total balance in the remaining 11 accounts as of January 2005 was 1,226,518,163 naira 9 kobo. In addition to these, 7 treasury bills and commercial papers in the same bank had a total balance of 1,017,178,719 naira 42 kobo. The two added together came up to 2,243,696,882 naira 50 kobo. With the addition of the accrued benefit of 14,403,634 naira 36 kobo, the figure came to 2,258,100,516 naira 87 kobo. This sum was what was paid to the commission by Spring Bank and eventually remitted to the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Finance as against the 3,37,255,521 naira 60 kobo claimed by the allegation. Lamolde went further that the idea to preserve the money recovered in an interest-yielding account was contained in the judgment secured by the Commission against Balogun, which specifically directed that the money be preserved. This was against the allegations contained in the petition that Lamolde traded with the said funds.
Money has cost, and there's supposed to be value. If you keep money in a strong room, in an exhibit room, and after 5 years, if it is 10,000 naira, it be still 10,000 naira. But there may be depreciation, there may be inflation, there will be whatever. So some of the judgments we have been getting, some of the courts will specifically tell you preserve this thing in an interest yielding account for the people before judgment is eventually given and is decided, either in favor of the prosecution or the defense, the accused person. So that made us to write to the Accountant General of the Federation and obtain clearance. We specifically, we requested that, look, we have been getting this kind of order, and people are saying monies that are ordinarily supposed to yield income to either the government or the person, the defendant, is just lying there. And at the end of the day, you don't get value.
In order to put the record straight, the anti-corruption czar said in June 2014, he commissioned the KPMG, a reputable international audit firm, to carry out a forensic audit of the commission's exhibits and recovered assets since inception.
I didn't know this allegation is going to even come up. We gave this assignment, I think, either June or July last year. So they started working, and as I speak to you, we have embarked on the final reconciliation of figures because we had to record some exhibit keepers we couldn't see who have retired, and they have been found now to sit down with the KPMG team.
Apart from Tafa Balogun, the commission also recovered properties from quite a number of convicts. Taking Dipre Alamesi as an example, what happened to properties recovered from him?
You know, this is very interesting. Part of the allegation made by these particular individuals, as I'm reading some of the documents that I saw, was that the assets were being manipulated from 2006 to 2007. Ademosia was convicted in July 2007. So if, as I told you, that you don't have do anything with the asset until the final forfeiture is given, so how could you have done anything with the assets before judgment was given in July of 2007? And not only that, the totality that he said, I think part of the allegation was that the total amount that was supposed to be remitted to Bayelsa State government was not the amount that was remitted. And yes, the judgment was done in July 2007, but the proceeds of the sale of the assets did not come into the commission until 2008. I can't remember the exact date, either August, July, or 2008. And this individual who is making this allegation knows that this Ibrahim Lamordi has been mentioning the name, Ibrahim Lamordi, left EFCC in May 2008. I went to Ningi as area commander Ningi. From there, I went to ACCID Bauchi. From there, as AC admin, Police College Kaduna. So the time the monies came for DSP, for Bayelsa State government, I was not even near Abuja. The remittances to Bayelsa State government, I think, took place in 2009. It was done by Mrs. Waziri when she was the chief executive of this place. But conveniently, because for whatever reason, no mention was made of that, all the monies that were remitted back to Bayelsa State were done where I was not in this place. Unless I'm so super powerful and superhuman that I will be in Ningi or Bauchi and controlling events that are taking place in the EFCC.
Is it also true that between 2006 and 2007, you changed the Bayelsa State government by manipulating part of the proceeds of assets recovered from DSP Alamesi?
I think the allegation was, if I remember, there was something said about Itodo and company that they were managing and mismanaged the rents and this. In the first place, Itodo, I don't think, was engaged on the two cases because Itodo is started working in the FCC of recent. There are other estates, managers of real estate that manages properties, and they were accounted for. It's part of the things I've told you. Everything every single kobo that has come into this is there and is always accounted for. And I think by the time we receive the audit reports being conducted by KPMG in the next 3 weeks or so, all these issues will be put to rest because we publish it, let everybody see it.
There are also allegations that you, together with Access Bank, manipulated EFCC recovery accounts and expunged entries to the tune of 800 billion naira. How true is this allegation, sir?
I want to put it on record. I don't know why people conveniently will avoid stating the truth for whatever reason and start shipping allegations in the wrong direction. Up to the time I left the FCC in May 2008 for Ningi, the FCC had no account with Access Bank. So if there was no Access Bank account, I couldn't have manipulated Access Bank account. The period the allegations being made, Access Bank account was opened under the watch of Mrs. Waziri, when she was the chairman of this place. After I have left this place, I don't know anything except that until when I came back, my second coming to FCC, that I saw that there was an Access Bank account. And the person making the allegation knows that. So how can I manipulate what I don't know of its existence? And the period is saying that the manipulation took place, like I said earlier, I was either in Ningi or Bauchi or Kaduna, Police College, Kaduna. So I don't know whether I'm manipulating this account from the various places I worked after I lived in this place. I didn't come back to the FCC until the 10th of December, 2010. And when I came, Mrs. Waziri was still the chairman of this place. I don't know why he decides everything is Ibrahim Hamad. And I wish I had known this individual. Then I may have said maybe there are some personal issues that I'm not aware of. But that is the position.
With regards to the allegations of concealing recovery accounts in the Central Bank of Nigeria, which was not captured in the Commission's audited report, Lamurde has this to say.
The accounts at the Central Bank was opened and the instruction of the Minister of Finance about recoveries of monies from the EFCC. The signatories to the accounts are all staff of the Office of the Accountant General. We can only pay money into the account, but we have no access of touching one kobo out of the account. The documents authorizing the opening of that account is there. The signatories of the account in the Office of the Accountant General are there. And so look, there is nothing we do. We don't make sure that we follow processes and procedures and obtain the necessary approvals before something is done.
A certain George Ubo claimed that the EFCC did not remit tax recoveries to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. How true is this allegation?
After I came back in 2019, I found that a unit was set up specifically to deal with issues of tax collection and tax recovery and remittances to FIRs. And because this allegation came up, I had to go and look at the records and the books. And to the best of my knowledge, all the taxes that were collected were remitted as they were being collected. In fact, in order to make it smooth, a relationship was established with Fidelity Bank, which is, I think, still a collection or receiving bank for FIRS taxes. And I asked them to bring the registers, even though the tax units have been disbanded, the registers and the receipts they have from the bank for collecting these taxes, and they produce the receipts. So when somebody says these things were not remitted, I wonder whether there are others that I'm not aware of. But based on the records that I've seen, even though it's happened also, not under my watch, it happened when I was not here. Mrs. Waziri was the one who established the tax team, and everything was remitted during her time. But the records are very clear. So in fairness to her, even she made sure that these remittances were made.
In spite of all the challenges, the Commission is unwavering in its commitment to the eradication of all forms of economic crimes and corruption in the country. With the conviction record of 126 achieved in 2014, it has projected to raise the bar this year. It is believed that this projection will be realized in spite of unforeseen developments, especially the strike by judicial workers and the involvement of judges in election petition matters, which has distorted the judicial calendar for 2015. In terms of recoveries, the Commission has recorded giant strides. Recently, it recovered and returned the sum of 10,540 euros to a Polish victim of internet love scam. The victim, simply identified as Jemima, was allegedly duped 40,000 euros by the suspect Gabriel Osare Mersavi, who operates a fake Facebook account with the name Collins Page. The money was received on behalf of the victim by the Belgian ambassador and his Polish counterparts. Another victim of love scam, Margaret Sanders, an American, also received a check of $2,000. With these and other achievements too numerous to mention, the EFCC, under the leadership of Ibrahim Lamerty, has rekindled hope that the nation is on the right track as far as the war on corruption is concerned.